We are now recording, Clara, and today is December the 16th, 2008. Put a smile on your face. Let's put a smile on your face. You don't want to smile? There you go. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to record a little bit of history of Clara Leona Smith Weston. So, what's your preferred name? What do you write your name as?
Clara Weston.
Clara Weston. And how old are you, Clara?
67.
67. Where were you born?
Waco, Texas.
In Waco, Texas. And your parents' name?
Thomas Charles and Letty Mae.
And how many children in your family, Clara?
My siblings?
Mm-hmm.
There was 9 of us. 2 of them have since passed, so there's 7 of us. 6 girls and 1 boy.
And where are you in the lot?
I'm 4th from the bottom.
You're 4th from the bottom. And can you name all your siblings?
Oh, sure. Doris, Jerome, Rosemary, Gwen, Janet, and Cheryl.
You left out TC and Joe.
Oh, you mean those are no.
All of your siblings.
Oh, okay. With all all of them.
Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about growing up. Where did you grow up? In Waco?
No, I don't remember being in Waco. The earliest I can remember is being on Spring Street. Up until we moved to 647 South 19, and that's where I started elementary school. I went to Nistra.
Do you remember what grade you were in?
No, I must have been in like about the 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about the 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any memories of your early childhood, school, friends at that time?
Well, they used to have hot dog day, and you could get a hot dog and a drink. And I thought that was so neat because our family didn't go out to restaurants or stop at, McDonald's or whatever. So the PTA would have a hot dog and a drink that you could buy. And Mother was usually working with the group. She was part of the PTA. And that was the best hot dogs and drink when I was little. Yeah. I was in elementary school.
Any other memories?
In elementary school or just any time?
No, just about that age, when you were young. Childhood memories of growing up in Richmond?
I know when we lived on Spring Street, we used to go picking fruit on Sundays, and my mother was very religious, but we had a goal, and that was to buy a house. So we'd all go picking prunes. Mother would make the biscuits and the chicken and she would sit under a tree and take care of my 3 younger sisters, you, Gwen, you, Janet, and Cheryl. And I was old enough to go. TC would go along and shake the branches, him and Dad. And Dad would go along and put these wooden boxes next to each tree. And you just go behind them and fill them up. And we worked just about all day. You could come over and have some food. And Mother say, please don't eat the green fruit. And she knew you were eating the green fruit because you started having diarrhea right away because it was so good. But, yes, I remember that when I was young. I'm not sure how long we did it. I think we must have did it up for a while because I remember going and cutting grapes also. So I was older.
Okay. Any other memories you can think of in your younger years?
When I was young. Um,
How about junior high school? What do you remember about junior high school? Where'd you go to junior high?
I went to Roosevelt and Johnny lived over. Uh, we had a field in the back of our house. And each morning I walk over to Johnny's house and
Who is Johnny?
Johnny Lou.
And who is she?
She was my friend.
Okay.
And I walk over to Johnny's house every morning and we'd walk to Roosevelt. Yes, just about every school morning we'd walk over there. And we'd walk home. And I wasn't allowed to wear lipstick. And before I got to school, I used to put lipstick on when I was at Roosevelt. And I can remember before, on the way home, I would take it off with my teeth. My lips were so red. There's a tree on the side of the house. It was a bush. Mother didn't have to prune it, and Daddy didn't have to prune it because Mother used it for when she'd whip you with those. And I got a lot of those just from using lipstick. I don't mean every day, but I got quite a few of them for wearing that lipstick. But Johnny and I would walk home, and we'd be at home for about 30 minutes, and then we'd get on the phone. Mother said, "You guys walked home? You've been together all day, and you come home, and you're still on the phone?" Yeah, she was a very good girlfriend. She really was. We had some nice time together. Basically had the same interests.
And what were those interests?
We liked sports. Both of us liked sports, and we did well in sports. There was after school, Roosevelt. You could be the volleyball, the baseball. Volleyball was most that we stayed in. Baseball, we kind of like it. Basketball, we did well because I had height. Johnny didn't have much of a height, but she was fast. So after school, we'd do that, in sports. I don't know, we used to just laugh and talk about everything.
Were you both good at tennis?
We played. Johnny was left-handed, so it was kind of sometimes awkward, But we tried to play tennis. Yeah.
Tell me about senior high.
Oh, I had a really good senior year. A senior high school year, I went to Richmond High, and I was a really nice size. I wasn't skinny, but I wasn't big. And I think I was a pretty nice, not beautiful, but just a nice looking young lady. And I had a couple of boyfriends. And senior high school, Dad wouldn't let them come over to the house, so you just have to talk to them at school. And that was about it. My senior year of high school, we had a club. It was called Del Zeta, and we the 10 top black girls in Richmond High, supposedly, because everybody was either pom-pom or cheerleader or the student counselor. And we were invited to everything. Just by being with Del Zeta, you were invited, So I had a good senior year. I had a boyfriend. His name was Roscoe my senior year. He worked at the gas station on Cutting, at the end of Cutting, down around, I think, 4th Street. I met him through Johnny. Johnny went with Sonny, and Sonny and Roscoe were friends, and I met him through him. And we started. Now we couldn't date. I mean, but he used to come in on his lunch hour. He would come and pick me up after school. Oh, I thought I was Miss Hot Stuff. He'd be sitting out there in front of the school in his white car, and I just walk out there like, oh, here I am, Morel. And he would take me home, and that was it. Dad never saw me with him. Mother did, you know. But, and there was no hugging and kissing, I mean, when I went out with him at night on the weekend or something. But he was a nice person. He was a nice person.
So did you have a job when you were in high school? What was your first job?
I can't even, but I'm not really sure. I'm not really. The first time I ever worked, I consider work as Jerome had a paper route. And Jerome was in his senior year of high school. And Jerome was in every activity, every play, you name it, Jerome was in it. I mean, and so he had this big paper route. And I would come home, and Mother would say Jerome has to stay for a meeting or something. And I was responsible for going and doing his papers. And it was on cutting. You go pick up your papers. And there was about maybe 4 to 6 other boys over there folding their paper, putting them in the paper bag, and I would do the same thing. And Drone had the spike. It was a big wheel and a little wheel in the front. And that's what I rode around delivering papers. I didn't have to do it on Sunday because the papers were too heavy. And Mother didn't want me to carry them. They were too heavy. But during the week, if Drone had or something, by the time I got home from school, he would have called Mother to say, will Clara do it for me? And I was able to have a little money. He didn't pay me a whole lot because he was giving Mother money from his route. He always gave Mother money and he made nice money. And then he used money to buy his clothes and whatever. And he'd give me a little bit of money. But I thought that was a lot. Yeah. I think I had a good school year. My school years were pretty good. I was a terrible student. I can remember my senior year. In your junior year, you found out, you were told, for your senior year, if you didn't pass the social study class, because that was about Congress and, the senators and all, learning all about the government. If you didn't pass it, they could flunk you for the whole year. A whole year. So, when I came back my senior year, and I looked at my card and it said, Social Studies, the second half. I went marching down to my counselor. I said, no, I'm going to take it the first, because if I fail, I need to be able to take it over again. He says, Clara, don't worry. And you don't tell me I had terrible grades. And it bothered me. It bothered me. I started studying with artists, and artists was an A student. But, and I wind up with a C. Did very well. You know what I'm saying? I passed it. I can't remember that about my senior year. That would only give us $1 for the whole week. Now you had to catch the bus going to school because you couldn't walk it in time to get there in time. So that was a dime. So in the evening during the day you have to decide, what am I going to use this dime for? To buy a container of milk, or buy a piece of pie you liked, or catch the bus home. Well, I found this little bakery shop, and it was right off of McDonald's, maybe 2 blocks from McDonald's. And they made the best apple pie. Oh, it was apple squares. So what I used to do, I would walk home. When the bus would pass by, I'd go hide in one of the store, entrance, I'll just go stand there so nobody would see me walking home. But the days that I wanted that pie, that's what I would do. Yeah.
So what happened after high school? What'd you do?
Oh, after high school, I went to junior college, Contra Costa. Uh, I went to Contra Costa, and it was all right. It was really a social. To me, I think it was a sociable school, not so much academic. You know, most of the people stayed in the cafeteria, and that's when Eva Beth and I became very close. She was a very sociable person. She hadn't finished high school, but she came to Contra Costa to get her high school education, so. And she was really well known. I mean, people knew me, but not, Um, most of the people I was with were people from my church, Rudolph and Roderick, and, people that I grew up with in the church. So it was really, I think, a sociable group. I didn't apply myself that well either. And I did 2 years there. And then I met James Weston, who's now my husband. And we hadn't planned on getting married. But after he was in school, he had gone to like about 3 electronic schools. And they told him they would make him an instructor. And Weston, he didn't believe him. And true enough, from his last school, they put him on the Chicago. It was a ship getting ready to go to Vietnam. So Wes got out of service before the ship went over. But we didn't know what was going to happen, so we decided to get married. So I got married that summer. After I finished my second year junior college, we got married, and come to find out, and then Wes got off the ship because he didn't have much time. So.
And what were your first impressions of him?
Of Jim Weston?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't really know. He came to Eva Beth's birthday party. She had met them in a drugstore. These three sailors. They all had on their sailor suits. And she told them that they could come to her birthday party. She didn't know them, but she just invites everybody anyway. So, and they came, and Wes danced really well. And, I don't mean outrageous or anything. He just really had nice movements, And I enjoy dancing, and I danced with him most of the night. He walked me home. My house was like 5 blocks from Eva Beth's house. And then that was probably like a Saturday night. I'm sure he called me that Sunday. And during the week, he may have called me one time because he was really, busy. And we started going out on the weekend. He was a really nice person.
What struck you about him?
I don't know, he just seemed genuinely nice. He wasn't trying to impress you.
What were your expectations of him as a husband?
After being raised in a house with 8 other siblings, I wanted someone to finally come along and say, Clara, you're number 1. And that's what Wes did for me. He made me number 1.
And how did he do that?
Oh, just very special. Anything, and I didn't ask for a whole lot, but just about, if I wanted to do something, he didn't have to ask anybody else or whatever, if I wanted to do it, he'd do it. We couldn't accept gifts from him. You don't accept gifts from boys then.
Was that your rule or his rule?
That was our parents' rule. You weren't supposed to bring anything in that house. So you weren't supposed to be accepting because that means they felt, you know, he's entitled to something from you if you accepted gifts. So, but he just did really nice things.
And did you feel number one once you got married?
Yes, I felt number one before I got married.
So tell me about your marriage. What kind of expectations did you have in your marriage?
I don't really know.
Did you expect to be a parent? Did you expect to be a mother? Did you want big family, little family? Did you want to be a wife with a big house?
Well,
and travel the
Weston and I
world?
decided that we were going to get married. We didn't want to have any kids first. He was 23 and I was 21. No, I was 20 and he was 23. And so we said we didn't want children at the beginning. We just wanted to be by ourselves. And we went to Planned Parenthood and I started taking the birth control. We had no sex. We weren't having sex. It was just that by the time we got married, the pills should have been kicked in so that I wouldn't get pregnant, you know. And if I tell you we used those pills maybe 2 months after we got married. And then we decided we wanted a family. We don't know what we was waiting for, you know.
So tell me about your family.
My family now, I have 2 boys and a girl. Very proud of them. Very, very proud of my children. They've done basically what we wanted them to do. They all went to college. Alan, my oldest one, didn't finish. But he went to college. When he was in high school, he was like in the top of his class. He could read something on Monday and Friday. And during the week, he would have to do it. Friday, he could take tests and score very high. He had that ability. And when he got accepted into Boston University, his father told him, all these kids are like you. You know, they're not like the kids at White Plains, you know, different levels. That's why they accepted you in the program. So, he didn't finish. He didn't finish college. He's now a correction officer. I would hope he would go back to school, but I don't think he will. He feels very good about what he's doing, and he's good at what he's doing. He's not pushy, but he means business. And my son-in-law's a correctional officer that works with Alan, and to say he talks really good to the inmates, you know. And then I have my daughter Stacy. I was so glad when I had a little girl. Oh my God. Yeah, she was a pleasure to have. She really was. We kept our kids in church. Alan was an altar boy. Stacy sang in the children's choir. We were very active in our church. Wes was a Sunday school teacher and I was a Sunday school teacher. Wes started a summer program. He went down and made out the papers. He did all the paperwork to get this summer program started, to get into the city, to have it okay. And through the summer program, he got free lunches with the summer program. And our young adults, our teenagers, had a summer program. And to this day, it is still going. Jackie, my niece, works at City Purchase, and one of the people that came to apply for to attend Purchase College put down Butler Summer Program Counselor. And Jackie said, "Oh, my uncle started that program." So we were very proud of Wes. Wes worked really hard, diligently for that program. We did a lot of things. When we got out of the service, Wes, he couldn't find the job that he wanted to. And so he said to me one day, "Clara, I'm going to stop working for 1 year." He had been going part-time, but it was a lot. And in New York, it's freezing cold, it's snowing, it's raining. And he didn't want to take, I'll tell you about our car. But anyway, he finally said, "Clara, I'm gonna go to school full-time so I can finish." He says, "Will you go along with me?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "We can't owe any bills. Only one bill we could have, and that was, we did Sears because it had automotive, it had clothes, it had furniture, it had everything but food." But come to find out, we were eligible for food stamps. We had been going to school, he had been going to school for a couple of months, and one of the guys that he was talking with, a group of them, and they said they had food stamps. And Wes came home one day and said, "We're eligible for food stamps." So we only had one bill, and we lived off that for a year, almost a year and a half. And he said, "Clara, if you let me go to school, I'll try to buy anything you want to. I'll try to buy everything you want." So he went and he finished, and I think he graduated April, May, June. 1st of June, July, August, September, October,
And what course was
November.
it that he graduated from?
Computer science.
From what school?
CCNY that my grandson is now attending. That was Weston. 6 months after he graduated, we bought a house. The apartment, Mrs. Brooks and them were very nice to us, but it was just a little tiny apartment. So we went to a lawyer, Rodman, who we've had for 30-something years. And he told us what we had to do. So I called my parent, Dad, and asked him, would he help us buy a house? Wes went to his mother and asked her, would she help us buy a house? Oh, GI Bill. And we bought our first little house after 6 months of him working full time. We've had a good life. We've had a good life. We have.
What's outstanding about your life? That makes it good.
I think as a couple we have worked together. We've had arguments, but we've never had major arguments. We've had arguments, you know. The one thing in our marriage that, and I never got along with his mother. I loved his mother. I really loved Bea. I never got along with her. I really didn't. So we've been married for, 47 years so far.
And some remarkable things about your marriage.
Hmm?
What are some remarkable, some events that you can remember about your marriage that...
Oh, I've had 3 cesareans. And you're going to the hospital the day before, and the following morning they take the baby. Each time I would go to the hospital, Wes would take me. That morning, 5:30, they come in and prep me, and there's set Wes in my room, waiting for whatever was going to happen. I never had to call him. Never had to call him. He was always there. Whenever I had a stillborn, and he was there the whole time. Now I know people say, "Oh, he should have been there." True, but he was there without calling, without any. Uh, he was just security for me. He was a hard worker. He really was. Very hard worker.
And what kind of parent was he?
Oh, for our children, he is, and he was the backbone of our family. By him being so doing very well in math, when the kids came home with their homework, I remember when Alan was probably in about the 5th grade, they sent us a letter. They're going to be a new math program, and they want the parents to come and learn it. And Wes went over there, and he kind of helped teach it. Wes picked up very well with his children. Learned. They were good learners. Wes really kept up with them, you know. Even though he worked long hours, I mean, I was responsible for, making sure they did their homework. But I would try to do some of that math, and I couldn't do it. So they'd say, "Oh, Mom, just wait until Dad gets home. He'll do it." Oh, okay.
What do you want for your children, each of them?
I just want them to be good adults and be good to people. I just want them to care about us, to get along with each other. I just want them to be good adults. I want them to care about the family, our family.
How do you want them to see you? A mother that cared for them. I was there when they were sick, and I just want them to. I hope they feel that whatever was going on, good or bad, that I was there. And you have grandchildren.
I have 3.
Tell me about them.
2 boys and a girl. Stacy had Yusef, and I went to work, and I was told everybody knew Stacy was pregnant because she'd come to my job, big and pregnant, and sit behind me, and so they knew I had gone out for Stacy to have the baby. When I came back, and I said, "Oh, his name's Yusef," and they kept saying, "Oh, his name is Joseph." No, his name's not Joseph. His name is Yusef. Clara and Joseph is the same thing as Yusef. I say, but his name is Yusef. So I learned something from Stacy calling him Yusef. He's a very special person to me. My first grandchild. He's a good kid. He really is. We've had our ups and downs too. Elijah is. He uses his books so that he doesn't have to talk to people, and I told him I didn't like that. You don't sit in the room and read a book and everybody's in there talking. Go put the book down and you come and talk with us. Grandma, I'm going to say to nobody. Well, you better learn how to say something to somebody. Stacy knows everything. She's as smart as her father. She's as smart as her father. He taught her well. Uh, she's spoiled, and I know she is. Um, but they're good people. They're good people. If I need them, they're there. They're basically, in fact, they take care of their own stuff. Even Michael, living upstairs in my apartment we have, he still takes care of himself. He meets his own needs. So,
Michael's your youngest.
my youngest.
And what are your expectations for him?
Um, I wish Michael would find a better paying job. Michael has very expensive taste. Very. And the job he has now cannot afford him. So he's still in college. I think he's going to be a professional student. But the library, Pace Library, the law library, the director would like for Michael, I think, to become a librarian because he deals very well with people. And I talked to Rosemary. Librarians make really nice money. A real librarian makes really nice money. And that's what Michael needs, a job that makes really nice money. He really likes buying things. Out of my 3 children, he believes in buying. Stacy is a bargain person. Bargain. She's so happy when she see a bargain. And Alan is, this is what I want. I have the money, and this is what I'm going to buy. It's not a whole lot of it. He doesn't buy a whole lot of things, but if he wants a yellow cup, he's not going to sell it for a green, blue, purple. He's going to get that one cup that he wants, and that's how Alan has lived. Very proud of my children. They're good to people. I mean, they're people, but
And you have a granddaughter.
Kyla. Our Kyla. Totally rotten. She's been spoiled, being the only girl, But you have to make Kyla listen to you because she thinks she's so smart. So you have to make Kyla listen to you when you say something. She pouts a lot because when she doesn't get away, she starts pouting. And that's come from being in a house, where she was the baby, and if she cried, they'd do it. And now at age 13, she's doing the same thing. So I don't know how we're going to work on it.
What do you want for her?
Kyla wants to go to Columbia. No. What's the college in England? Oxford. Kyla would like to go to Oxford and become a lawyer. I think she has that ability. She really does. The one thing that would stop her is money, the tuition. But my niece Jackie, that works for Purchase, I think would help her find the grants and whatever. Each one of my grandchildren have always gotten the President Award. Yusef got it. Elijah got it. I think Kyla will also venture, So very proud of them. They're doing good. I mean, we have our ups and downs, and
So what did you, as a child, want to be when you grow up?
a mother. Well, I really wanted, I think, in fact, I do. I think I either wanted to be a nurse or a teacher. I can remember when I graduated from high school, my mother gave me my watch, and it was for a nurse. It had a big face and the minute hand, and that was for when you took a pulse. You'd have your watch with the minute hand. You'd have to look for one. I think I told mother I either wanted to be a nurse or a teacher. And when I was going to Contra Costa, I did just general studies, to go into education.
And what legacy would you like your kids to leave for your kids? What would you like them to remember Clara Weston?
Oh, I
What would you like to leave to this world? Some last thoughts you want people to say or think about you.
I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. I'm really not sure.
Any regrets in your life?
Oh, let me see. I wish I would have came back to my family in Richmond more often. I wish I would have did that. I felt I grew apart from my sisters, even though I talked to my sisters, you guys, all the time. But I needed to come back like this time and stay 2 or 3 weeks with you. Um, I think I would have did better with Wes's family if I would have done that also. Um, I think with Wes's family, I, I wasn't sure of. I knew how I grew up, but loving Wes and his mother and some of the things they did, I didn't agree. And I guess I wasn't mature enough to deal with it. I could have dealt with it a different way, you know. Um, um, I think that's my only regret. I I wish I was more mature dealing with my mother-in-law. That's my, you know. Yeah. One time was it, we'll go, he knew I was having a really bad time. Not just being in New York, but, with the family, with his family. He said, Claire, let's go back to California. And I knew he didn't want to. I knew he didn't want to. Wes got accepted into Stanford. And he turned it down. So he could go home and be with his mother, who was a single parent. And his brothers and sisters, they were all just about teenagers, and they were given a really bad time. So he felt he should go home and be with his mother to help raise his brothers and sisters. Did I resent it? Yeah, I guess I did in a way. I think that was something that he really wanted himself, you know. But
So looking forward to the future, what are your hopes and dreams and desires?
to not use this walker, I'm going to go home and I'm going to start therapy for my cane. That's one of them. And because Wes has an illness now that's talked to Dr. Burma, his doctor. It's not going to get better. It's going to get progressed. And I just hope I have patience. I know I am so protective of him right now. I am so protective of this. And then I get angry because I don't want to be protective. I mean, not I don't want to, Gwen, but I just, I watched Doris with Kathleen the other day, and it was like, am I going to do that to Wes? Am I going to do that to myself? That's why I came here, to be with you guys, you know? And it was very hard. But it has helped me a great deal, believe me. Because it helped me out a great deal to go back.
So what do you look forward to in the future? Some good things. What do you look forward to?
Oh, God, I look forward to continuing dialysis. And even though I complain about it, makes you very sick, I do. I know if I continue, I'll continue to live, and a better quality of life if I keep continuing to go to dialysis. You get very, you get depressed, going 3 times a week. Not sticking those big needles in you, and you sit up there for 3 hours, 4 hours, and the blood's going through, and it's look on both sides of you, it's happening to that person, then we get up and either you bleed or you go out there and wait and you're so tired and it's so cold, you stay cold. But I know I have to do that. If I want to live, if I want to stay and be with Wes and be with my sisters, and be with my children, that's something that I have to do. And it's not easy. It isn't. I want to start going back to church also. I don't want to be active. I just want to just be in church again. One of the reasons I don't go to church is if Wes decides to get up in the middle of the church, what do I do? Do I get up and find him? Do I get up and follow him? Do I have to tell the usher when I come in, if my husband come out, would you follow him?
So you could go with people so that you could all sit with him, and if he gets up, so you don't plan on doing things always just with you and Wes. You have to do in different ways now.
I have to learn that. Wes and I like being together, even though we fuss at each other and holler.
But in public places away from home, you're going to have to trust to
yes.
take a companion with you. So that's something new that you're going to have to learn.
It'll make it easier for both of us.
Absolutely.
Except, like the other night when we went out with Rosemary and John. And John got up to go to the bathroom. And Wes got up too. I mean, that's a normal thing. And Rosemary said, "Oh, John, he's behind you." And then Rosemary said, "I'll just sit this way in case he comes out before John so he doesn't go out the door." Because the door outside was right there when you came out of the bathroom, So, you have to make people aware of what's going on with them. And sometimes I like to do that. I really don't. Sometimes I don't even like making people aware that I can't see. But I know it's for my safety. Most of the time I say, "Oh, I'm legally blind, and I can see some, But sometimes I don't even want to say that.
Do you know why that is? Do you know why that is?
I'm not really sure yet. I'm not. I don't mind being disabled. This right here says I'm disabled. You know, this is disabled. I'm not sure why I don't see about not being able to see. Really not. But I'll work on it when I go back to pastor.
So what are your hopes and dreams about your relationship with Wes and your family and your children and you? Can you,
Mm,
for the next 2 years, what are your hopes and
next
dreams?
2 years, I would hope Alan gets married. I don't know what's happening in his life, him and Deborah. You know, it's a child involved. And even though it's not his, if he can live with her, welcome, he can't marry her. But I mean, it's more to it than that, and I know it. You know, I know it. But I would like for them to stop playing house. You know,
And 5 years from now, what would you like?
with Wes and I still fussing and arguing, being together, still able to go. Um, Still able to sit at the table and talk and have Christmas with my family and have Thanksgiving, have Sunday dinners. That my friend, woman who works for us, Jack, come over and cook Sunday dinners. And if anybody comes by, you know, usually somebody comes by and have dinner there for them.
And your last parting thoughts? Anything that's come up that you haven't said yet that you'd like to say?
Hmm,
What do you think people need to know about Clara?
what am
Your,
I? What did you say, Gwen?
what do you think people need to know about Clara that you haven't said?
Oh, no. I think my family knows me pretty well. I think my family. I don't think I have any hidden agendas in my life. I think I've been pretty open with my family.
Can you tell a joke?
Sometimes.
Can you tell one now?
No. No, I can't.
All right. So how do you want to say goodbye?
Oh, um, I, I am so thankful that I'm well enough to come home to my sisters and their families. It's so important. Okay. I am so glad that Weston are well enough to come home to our other family, you know, and be a part of them. And then go back to our family, you know, our children and their children. I come back and I see you guys are very protective of each other. Very good, very protective of each other. And it's such a good feeling to see that. No matter who says what, you guys are very protective. Every one of you. Every one of you. And so I can go back. Not with a whole lot of confusion, not with a whole lot of mess, not with the, you know what I'm saying? Even with my baby sister, she says all these different standards, and since I've been here talking to her, you know, I told her, your dad had the biggest standard, different, which called it anybody. Oh no, I said, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. So I think just letting her know that, you know, her dad, who she loves very much, he had double standards, you know. So I feel good about that. I feel Cheryl and I only argue one time. We only argue one time. Um, I'm not taking back Miss. I just don't want to take back Miss Gwen. You know, I just, who's not speaking to who and who doesn't like who and who's, you know, yep, all our kids are acting up. Come on, all of them. You know, um, we're all, trying to live our lives.
And you have 2 minutes to say goodbye to the camera.
Oh, thanks for listening to me.
I love you, Clara.
I love you, Gwen.
All right. Have a good flight home.
Oh, yes.
And a good 2 years. Yep.
Well, maybe you guys will come, you and Peter come to visit us.
Goodbye. Wave.